Okay, so we're back with another deep dive.
Yeah.
And listeners, wow, they sent in some pretty intense stuff this time.
It was a surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going way back to 2001.
Okay.
For this one, we're taking a look at Fight Dirty
Mm-hmm.
by Grandmaster Ted Gambordella.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so this book is well, as you can probably tell from the title.
Right. Yeah. Fight dirty.
Yeah, it's about pretty extreme self-defense tactics.
I mean, I guess just looking at this book, I mean, it definitely seems like it's going to be
Oh yeah.
pretty intense.
Yeah. And it's important to remember right from the start that Gambardella, he says he's not, advocating for violence or aggression,
Yeah.
right? He's writing this book to help people understand the kind of brutal tactics that someone might use on them
Yeah.
in a really dangerous situation.
Like a life or death.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's basically saying you need to know this stuff
Right.
so that you're not caught off guard if you're ever in a situation like that.
And you can defend yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to be prepared to use any and all means necessary to survive.
Okay. So, like, we're talking about pretty serious stuff here.
Oh yeah, this is definitely not for the faint of heart.
Right.
So, should we just dive right into some of the specifics?
Yeah. I mean, let's see what Grandmaster Gambardella has to say.
Okay, so the book starts off talking about groin strikes.
Those groin strikes. Okay.
Yeah, and Gambardella really sees this as a really effective way to immediately stop an attacker.
Makes sense. I mean, it's a very vulnerable area.
Yeah, and his whole philosophy here seems to be about taking decisive action,
Right.
ending the threat as fast as possible.
Okay. So, what kind of groin strikes are we talking about?
So the first one he describes is called the snap for attention.
Snap for attention. What's that?
Yeah. So this is basically a really hard front kick aimed right at the groin.
Okay.
And the key here is the snap. It has to be like a quick, forceful strike
Using what part of the foot?
with the instep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you're basically trying to deliver the maximum impact to that area.
And I imagine that would be pretty incapacitating.
Oh, yeah. It's meant to cause immediate pain.
Yeah.
And basically stop the attacker in their tracks.
Right. It's like a really brutal interruption.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's the snap for attention. What else?
So then he talks about here we go, around the mulberry bush.
Here we go, around the mulberry bush, huh?
Yeah. It's a bit of a whimsical name for what's actually a pretty devastating technique.
I guess so.
Yeah, so this one is a hard roundhouse kick to the groin.
Okay.
But Gambardella, he specifically says to lead with your toes for this one.
With your toes. Why is that?
Yeah, he claims that this specific method can have a much stronger effect.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he even says it could potentially cause sterility.
Now, okay, so we're not just talking about stopping the attack here, but...
Right, it's about inflicting damage that will prevent future aggression.
I mean, I guess that's the whole point of Fight Dirty.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it shows you just how serious he is about this stuff.
Okay, so what's next?
So the next groin strike he describes is called Back to the Future as a Girl.
Back to the Future as girl, huh?
Yeah, this one is specifically for when someone is attacking you from behind.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a hard lifting back snap kick right into their groin.
Okay.
Yeah, the idea is that it's completely unexpected and it hits them in a really vulnerable spot.
Right, so they're totally unprepared.
Exactly.
Okay, and then there's Turn Around and He Sings Soprano.
Ah, yes, that one, it's got some pretty vivid imagery there.
Yeah, so what's that one all about?
Yeah, this one is also a response to a rear attack.
Okay.
So someone's coming up behind you and you turn around and deliver a back thrust kick
All right.
right to the groin. And Gambardella, he uses some pretty colorful language to describe the effects of this one.
Like what?
Well, let's just say he implies that the attacker's voice will be permanently changed.
Ouch. Okay, I get the picture.
Yeah, and the last groin strike he describes is called, I'll just lay here and kick your privates.
I'll just lay here and kick your private. So this is when you're already on the ground.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone is trying to mount you, he suggests delivering a snap kick right to their groin.
Even from your back.
Yeah, you can still generate a lot of force from that position.
I guess so.
Yeah. And the idea is that it's enough to completely stop the attack.
Okay, so that's a lot of groin strikes. I mean, it's clear that Gambardella sees this as a primary target.
Yeah, he definitely emphasizes hitting the groin quickly and forcefully.
Right, to end the fight as soon as possible.
Exactly.
Okay, so what else is in this this fighting manual?
Yeah. Well, after the groin strikes, he moves on to head and face attacks.
Okay, so now we're getting even more intense.
Yeah, and the first one he describes is called headbutts and pretty faces.
Headbutts and pretty faces. That sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it is. So basically, if an attacker gets in close,
Okay.
you grab their hair and smash your forehead into their nose.
Wow. Okay, that's brutal.
Yeah, and Gambardella, he actually has a very specific reason for doing this.
What is it? To just inflict pain.
Well, pain is part of it, but he says the main goal is to straighten the attacker's nose.
Straighten their nose? Why?
Yeah, so that the police can identify them more easily later on.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's like a way to mark them.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Okay, so that's headbutting. What about other face attacks?
Well, the next one is called Excuse My Forearm, but Your Face is in the Way.
Okay, that sounds like it involves a forearm strike.
Yeah, exactly. It's a forearm strike to the nose area.
Or what's the point of that?
Well, it's meant to stop the attack, obviously, but it's also designed to make it harder for the attacker to breathe.
Oh, because you're hitting their nose.
Right, so you're causing pain and also making it harder for them to function.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then there's the I can't hear you, and now you can't either.
I can't hear you, and now you can't either. So this is about damaging their hearing.
Yeah, this is a hard slap to the ears with cupped hands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the cupped hands create a pressure wave that can really affect the eardrums.
I bet.
Yeah, it's meant to shock and disorient the attacker.
And probably cause some serious pain, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then there's the open up. This isn't going to hurt.
Open up. This isn't going to hurt me.
Yeah.
That sounds a little ominous.
Yeah, this one is pretty disturbing. It involves tearing open the sides of the attacker's mouth.
Tearing open their mouth. What?
Yeah, and Gambardella, he gives two reasons for this one.
Okay, I'm curious.
First, he says it's to get a better look at the attacker's teeth.
To see their teeth. Wow.
No, he doesn't really explain that part.
Okay.
And the second reason is to stop them from cursing.
So it's like a punishment.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a pretty brutal technique.
Yeah, that's definitely taking things to another level.
Yeah, and then we have the, let's play blind man's bluff. You start first.
Blind man's bluff. So this is about attacking the eyes.
Okay, this is a palm heel strike right into the eye socket.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, the goal here is to disrupt their vision, maybe even cause temporary or permanent blindness.
I mean, I guess if you can't see, you can't fight.
Right, and then he takes it even further with the, get that eye out of here.
Get that eye out of here. Oh my God.
Yeah, this one is pretty graphic.
I can imagine. So what does it involve?
Basically, he talks about using your thumb to try and pull the eye out.
Oh, God.
Or using your fingers to dig into the eye socket. Okay, that's enough. I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. And it shows you how far Gambardella is willing to go.
Right, like there are no limits in a life or death situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So after all of that, what else does he cover?
Well, after the head and face attacks, he moves on to other striking and manipulation techniques.
Okay, so what's in that category?
So one that caught my eye was called Mike Tyson's training regime.
Mike Tyson's training regime, huh?
Yeah, and this one is pretty primal. It involves biting the attacker's ear and then their nose.
Biting.
Yeah, biting. Gambardella says that it's a really effective way to shock and disrupt an attacker.
I mean, I guess it would be pretty unexpected.
Yeah, and painful.
Yeah, definitely painful.
And the reference to Mike Tyson, it's just meant to convey a sense of like...
Brutal aggression.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so what other techniques are there? Well, there's one called an apple a day keeps the punks away.
An apple a day keeps the punks away.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, this one is a throat attack.
A throat attack, okay.
Okay, so he says you should thrust your finger and thumb into the attacker's throat, grab their Adam's apple, and try to tear it out.
Oh my God, that's incredibly dangerous.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely a potentially lethal technique.
Okay, so we're moving into some really serious territory here.
Yeah, and then there's something on your jaw, let me knock it off.
There's something on your jaw, let me knock it off. Okay, I'm guessing this involves an elbow strike.
It's a powerful elbow strike to the side of the jaw.
And that could do some serious damage.
Oh, yeah, you could knock someone out or even fracture their jaw with that.
Yeah, that would definitely end the fight.
And then there's the anti-Heimlich maneuver.
Anti-Heimlich maneuver? What's that?
So this is a counter to a chokehold.
Okay.
So if someone is trying to choke you,
Yeah.
you immediately apply a military-style chokehold to them.
So you're turning the tables on them?
Exactly. Yeah, it's about using their own attack against them.
Okay, that's pretty clever.
And then the book moves on to finger and wrist manipulation.
Finger and wrist manipulation. Okay.
Yeah. So the first technique he describes here is called "it's not nice to point."
It's not nice to point. So I'm guessing this involves fingers?
Yeah. So you grab the attacker's fingers and you either stretch them really hard to the side
Okay.
or you try to tear them out.
Tear them out.
Yeah. And he also describes a variation where you twist the little finger like you're tearing meat off a bone.
Oh my God, that sounds excruciating.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely designed to inflict a lot of pain.
And probably disable their hand.
Exactly.
Okay, so after fingers, what about wrists?
So for wrists, he has a technique called "Don't let me hold you up."
Don't let me hold you up.
Yeah.
Okay, what is that?
Yeah, so this is a multi-step process. First, you lock the attacker's wrist.
Okay,
Then you pull up on it to put pressure on the joint.
and then?
And then you follow through with a hard forearm strike to their elbow. Oh, wow. So you're trying to break both the wrist and the elbow.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Ouch.
Yeah, and then there's the, I dropped a nickel, would you pick it up with your teeth?
I dropped a nickel. Would you pick it up with your teeth? That's a weird name for a technique.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange one, but the technique itself is pretty brutal.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so first you knock the attacker down.
Okay.
Then you secure their arm and dislocate their shoulder.
Dislocate their shoulder.
And then you snap their elbow.
Okay, so this is like a multi-step process designed to just completely destroy their arm.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so after all of that, where do we go from there?
Well, then he moves on to using improvised weapons.
Improvise what? Okay, so we're talking about everyday objects.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the first one he describes is called, I'm writing this letter to tell you goodbye.
I'm writing this letter to tell you goodbye. And this
Yeah.
uses a pen or a pencil.
You got it. Yeah, so he suggests using a pen or a pencil to attack vulnerable areas like the eyes or the throat.
Okay, so like stabbing motions.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that could do some serious damage, especially to the eyes.
Yeah, and then there's the wake up and smell the roses.
Okay, that sounds a little more poetic.
Yeah, but it's actually even more brutal than the last one.
Oh, really? So what is it?
So this one is all about using a pen to attack the face in various ways.
Like what?
He talks about sticking it into the nose and tearing outwards,
Oh, God.
tearing open a cheek and even puncturing an eardrum.
Okay, that's pretty graphic.
Yeah, and then we have the knife to see you, don't come again.
Knife to see you, don't come again.
Okay, so now we're talking about actual knives.
Right. This one is about using a hidden knife for a quick surprise attack to the throat.
So a lethal attack.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's the part about using a knife to retaliate against someone who's mistreating women.
Yeah, that's a particularly disturbing section.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very specific and violent response.
Yeah, and it really shows you how far Gambordella is willing to take things.
Right, it's about revenge and inflicting serious harm. And the last improvised weapon he talks about is a nail.
A nail, okay.
Yeah, the technique is called let me nail this one down.
Let me nail this one down. And how do you use a nail as a weapon?
So he suggests using it to attack the face, the neck, or the eyes.
Like how specifically?
Well, he talks about driving it into the side of the neck near the artery
Oh my God.
or into the eye.
Okay, that's enough. I think I get the idea.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
It's clear that just about anything can be used as a weapon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Well, after the improvised weapons, he moves on to deceptive tactics and follow-ups.
Deceptive tactics. Okay.
So the first one he describes is called I give up, maybe not.
I give up, maybe not. So this is about tricking the attacker.
Right. You basically pretend to surrender,
And
then you immediately launch a counterattack.
oh, okay. So it's a surprise attack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he suggests targeting the foot, the groin, and even the heart with stomps.
So you're exploiting their moment of vulnerability.
Okay. And what other deceptive tactics are there?
There's one called a knee in time stops it fine.
A knee in time stops it fine. So this is about knee strikes.
Yeah. So first you deliver a front heel kick to the knee,
Okay.
and then you follow that up with a side thrust to the same knee.
So you're really trying to damage that knee.
Yeah. And once the attacker is down or off balance,
Mhm.
you stomp on their face and the side of their neck.
Okay. So a combination strikes and stomps.
Right.
And then there's the step on a crack, break the punk's back.
Yeah, that one is pretty violent.
So what does it involve?
Okay, so first you knee the attacker in the back.
Okay.
Then you use a neck throw, and you help it along by stomping on their knee.
Okay.
And then you drop them over your back to try and break their back.
Oh, wow.
And you finish it off with stomps to the side of the neck and an attack to their teeth.
Okay, so this is like a whole sequence of moves.
Yeah, it's a pretty devastating combination.
So after all of that, is that it?
Well, almost the book ends with a section called, Hey, that guy looks like Rambo.
Hey, that guy looks like Rambo. Okay, what's that all about?
Yeah, this is where Gambordella describes some combinations that he says are just for fun.
Just for fun, huh?
Yeah, I guess from his perspective.
Okay, so what kind of combinations are we talking about?
So the first one starts with a front kick to the groin,
Okay,
then a knee to the face.
okay.
Then you grab their head and deliver an elbow strike to break their neck.
Oh, wow. So this is a really quick and brutal sequence.
Yeah, very quick, very brutal.
And the second combination.
So this one is for when the attacker has a knife.
Okay.
So you step aside, deliver a crushing side kick to the ribs,
Okay.
throw them to the ground, and snap their neck.
So again, very quick and very decisive.
Exactly.
But I think we've covered just about everything in this book.
Yeah, I think so. It's a lot to take in.
It is. And I mean, it's important to remember that Gambordella's stated intent here is to teach people how to defend themselves in extreme situations.
Right. He's not advocating for violence. He's saying that you need to know how to fight dirty if your life is on the line.
Yeah. And I mean, it's definitely given us a lot to think about.
It has, yeah. Like, where's the line between self-defense and aggression?
Right. And how does knowing this kind of stuff, even if you never use it, affect you psychologically?
Yeah, it's heavy stuff.
It is definitely something to think about.
Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive, but thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
And stay safe out there.
And be careful.
Yeah, and remember, this is for informational purposes only.
Definitely don't go out and try any of this stuff.
Yeah, please don't.
Stay safe, everyone.
All right, thanks again.
See you next time.